The words I have is Songs of Songs, chapter 4, verse 17. The Shulamite woman, the bride spoke. Awake, O north wind, come, O south, blow upon my garden, that its spices may flow out. Let my beloved come to his garden and eat its pleasant fruits. Before I tell you why the Lord showed me these words, this is a story of how I've overcome church hurt. I am very sure that this happens in at least to one of us who have attended church. And it's nothing new under the sun, and the most frequent advice one would have received after the event would be to forgive and surrender back to the Lord. And often, we are stuck at feeling rejected, resentment, betrayal, and sometimes even severely heartbroken or traumatized to trust a church leader, a church friend, and a church family again. And this is one of my stories. I was at the beginning of my dream learning journey with the Lord about some years ago. And one night I had a dream that I went to look for a pastor and told her my story, and she invited me to a meal and laid hands on my head. I knew what this dream meant, that she holds the key to my deliverance. Perhaps she is the person that got appointed to free me from this trouble that I had. So on the following Sunday, she was supposed to station at the other campus. And I told the Lord, I said, let it be a sign that if I show up in the opposite campus and she is found there, then I will obey the dream and talk to her. Despite knowing the impossibility that she will appear at this very campus, as I walked through the corridors, I recognized the voice, and it was the voice of this pastor. I mustered every courage to disobey because I knew I was very afraid of approaching any leaders and trying to tell them about my dream. When I finally caught her at the door very last minute, I talked to her, but I stumbled in my words because I was sharing something very traumatic for me. And I came across almost stuttering in my speech and lack of confidence. And I came almost super vulnerable to someone who I expect to hold me in prayer and deliver me from my pain. Instead, she misunderstood my intention and spoke really hurtful words that made me doubt everything that I knew of what I've heard, of what I've seen, of what I've journeyed all together in this church. And at that moment, I broke. The worst has happened. I told my other leader, and he said to me that sometimes obedience to God makes no sense. The outcome does not belong to us, but the very thing that I needed to do on the spot is not let this experience turn into a bitter seed of unforgiveness, where the enemy can use as a foothold in my life. A friend came along. She took me out for a frozen yogurt and let me share my hurt. She held space of compassion, listening to my story and encouraged me for my obedience and kept me grounded. From that day, I became afraid in the church. I told God that I don't belong here, but He insists that His voice is higher than anyone's voice in His house. It did not matter who says what to me, and I am still in His house and I am most welcome. The weeks after, it was hard to sit in church when this pastor preached, but I made a choice in my heart. Even if she thinks I am crazy and listening to the wrong voice, I choose to sit in front and let the Lord judge for me. It stings so bad that some days I find myself hiding at the back, but I push through and endure it, regardless what my feelings tell me or what my flesh says. One day, in her sermon, she shared a story how God has caused humbleness in her heart for speaking harshly to a girl, that she had to apologize for her expression even though she had done no wrong and was misunderstood. And at that point of time, I could hear God spoke to my heart. He said, this is the sorry that you needed to hear. I will judge for myself about the leaders. From that day onwards, I would sit in front again until the weeks before I departed from this church. She preached a sermon about freeing the prisoners and that the Lord has come to deliver us. I went all the way in front to the altar call, to the front row, and she laid hands on everyone, including my head. It is then I realized the fulfillment of my dream has finally completed. I learned that sometimes when God gives us a dream, the first obedience did not turn out as per the outcome we want it to be. God still has the final say to bring that vision or dream to come to pass in His timing. It didn't mean we messed up or we lose the chance of seeing the dream being fulfilled again because of our own inability or the fault of others. I believe so because when I asked the Lord just now on how to tell this story, He told me, take a look at Joseph. Do you think he made a mistake by telling his father, the prophetic leader of the house, about his dream that one day he may rule over them? The answer wasn't in the outcome of his telling of the dream, but rather in Joseph's final destination in the palace. After all the process of being sold by his brothers into slavery, the false accusation by Potiphar in the house where he is sent to work, and then in the prison where he was nearly forgotten or delayed. But Joseph knew what he was saying when he said, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. This is what he told his family. He did not blame God, but he knew in his heart that God was with him all along. When we are finally ready for the dream to be fulfilled, we become like the Shulamite woman who is waiting for the husband to come back. She said, calling both the north wind, which symbolizes the harsh treatment, and the south wind, which symbolizes the gentle treatment, to blow her garden so that the sweet smell flow out and let her lover enter the garden and let him eat its best fruits. The process we endure become like a garden that is fruitful and produce a sweet smell unto the Lord. So the conclusion of my message is that some leaders or some people that we love will disappoint you, but we must not let our own judgment stop us from going and doing what the Lord has purposed for us to do. His vision is His performance, and His final say is what matters. Our journey may come with thorns, but let us not get trapped into letting this hurt stay forever in our heart, holding us bondage from chasing what God ordained for us. Let God judge them Himself, and for us to forgive and let God. That is my message today.